No one would want me. The words came out so quietly that I almost didn't hear them. But once I did, I couldn't forget them. She stood across from me in the glow of the kitchen light. Her hands wrapped around a mug of tea she hadn't touched in nearly 20 minutes. Her eyes were fixed on the floor, as though looking at me was somehow harder than speaking the painful truth she had carried for years. Then she lifted her head. A sad smile crossed her face. "But I can be a mother to your children." At that moment, my heart broke. Not because of what she offered, but because of the reason she believed she had to offer it. Because somehow, somewhere along the way, this extraordinary woman had convinced herself that she was only valuable for what she could do for someone else, not for who she was. And that belief nearly changed both of our lives forever. I met Emily on a rainy Tuesday afternoon. I was 38 years old, a widowed father of 2 young children, trying to survive one day at a time. 3 years earlier, cancer had taken my wife. The grief never truly left. You simply learn to carry it. Some days it feels like a feather. Other days it feels like a mountain. After my wife died, my entire world became my children. Lily was 8. Noah was 6. They were the reason I got out of bed every morning. The reason I kept going when everything inside me wanted to quit. Still, raising 2 children alone was exhausting. Every school event reminded me of the empty chair beside me. Every family photo felt incomplete. Every bedtime story ended with the same question: "Dad, do you think Mom can see us?" And every time, I fought back tears before answering. One afternoon, Lily forgot her lunch at school. I rushed to deliver it during my lunch break. That was when I first saw Emily. She worked in the school library. She sat cross-legged on the floor reading to a circle of children. The kids were completely captivated. They laughed at her voices. They leaned forward during the exciting parts. And every child in that room looked like they felt safe, seen, important. When she finished the story, she noticed me standing by the doorway. She smiled. Not the kind of smile people use to be polite. A genuine one. The kind that reaches the eyes. "Lost?" she asked playfully. I laughed. Possibly. That simple conversation lasted less than 5 minutes. But something about her stayed with me. Over the following months, our paths crossed repeatedly. At school events, fundraisers, parent meetings. Whenever Emily was around, children seemed naturally drawn to her. Not just because she was kind. Because she listened. Really listened. One day I arrived early to pick up Noah. I found him sitting beside Emily in the library. His little face looked serious. I paused outside the room. "Do you miss your mom today?" Emily asked gently. Noah nodded. Sometimes I forget what her voice sounded like. The words punched me in the chest. Emily didn't rush to fix his sadness. She simply sat beside him. Then she said something I'll never forget. "The people we love leave pieces of themselves inside us. Sometimes when you laugh, part of that laughter is hers." Noah smiled. A real smile. For the first time that day. That was the moment I realized she was special. Not because she had all the answers. Because she understood pain. Months later, I finally asked her to dinner. She hesitated. Not because she wasn't interested. Because she seemed afraid. Eventually she agreed. That dinner became another. Then another. Then another. For the first time since losing my wife, I found myself looking forward to the future again. Emily was funny. Smart. Compassionate. The kind of person who remembered the names of waiters and asked strangers how their day was going. But there was always one thing she refused to talk about. Herself. Whenever conversations became personal, she changed the subject. Whenever I complimented her, she brushed it away. Whenever anyone mentioned her appearance, she became uncomfortable. I didn't understand why. Until one evening. We had been dating for nearly a year. The children adored her. Lily had even started asking if Emily could come to her soccer games. Everything seemed perfect. Then I brought up marriage. The reaction shocked me. Emily immediately went silent. Her face turned pale. And for several seconds, she couldn't speak. Finally she whispered, "You shouldn't say things like that." Why? Because it's not realistic. I stared at her. What isn't realistic? She looked away. Us. I felt confused. What are you talking about? Then came the confession. Years of hurt poured out at once. Growing up, Emily had always been bigger than the other girls. Classmates mocked her. Boys joked about her. Even relatives made cruel comments disguised as concern. "You'd be so pretty if you lost weight. You have such a nice face. Maybe one day a man will look past it." The messages piled up year after year. Eventually she believed them. By adulthood, she had accepted something heartbreaking as fact. That no man could truly love her. Not completely. Not permanently. Certainly not enough to choose her over someone thinner. Someone prettier. Someone more acceptable. Tears streamed down her face. I know what people see when they look at me. I shook my head. No. Yes, she said. They see a curvy woman nobody chooses first. My chest tightened. Then she spoke the sentence that changed everything. No man would want me. But I can be a mother to your children. The room went silent. I stared at her. She continued. I know Lily and Noah need someone. I know I can love them. I know I can help you. Maybe that's enough. Enough. As if love were a service. As if she were applying for a position instead of offering her heart. As if her worth depended on what she could provide. I moved closer. Emily. She wouldn't look at me. Look at me. Finally she did. Do you really think that's why I'm here? She opened her mouth. Then closed it. Do you think I spent a year falling in love with your kindness? Your laugh, your courage, your heart because I needed childcare. A tiny laugh escaped through her tears. That's not what I meant. Then what did you mean? She broke. Years of insecurity surfaced all at once. Fear. Shame. Self-doubt. Everything she had hidden. I'm terrified, she admitted. Terrified that one day you'll realize you deserve better. I took her hands. No. She stared at me. You are the better. For several seconds neither of us spoke. Then she cried harder than I had ever seen. Not because she was sad. Because she was finally allowing herself to believe something different. Healing rarely happens in a single moment. It happened slowly after that. Like sunlight gradually melting winter snow. Emily began therapy. She started challenging the cruel beliefs she had carried for decades. She learned to see herself through a kinder lens. Not perfectly. Not overnight. But little by little. And the children helped more than anyone. Kids have a remarkable ability to love without conditions. One afternoon Lily came home from school with a family tree assignment. She sat at the kitchen table drawing names. Then she looked up. Can I put Emily on here? Emily froze. So you know where I fit? She asked gently. Lily smiled. No. She pointed to the paper. Because you're family. Emily immediately turned away. But not before we saw the tears. A year later, I proposed. This time she didn't hesitate. She said yes before I finished asking. The wedding was small. Simple. Beautiful. Friends and family gathered in a park surrounded by giant oak trees. The children stood beside us. When Emily walked down the aisle, she looked radiant. Not because she had changed her body. Not because she had become someone different. Because she finally carried herself like someone worthy of being loved. During the reception, Lily tapped her glass. Everyone laughed. Then she stood on a chair. I want to say something. The crowd became quiet. Lily looked at Emily. Thank you for choosing us. Instantly there wasn't a dry eye in sight. Emily hugged her so tightly that Lily squealed. But the biggest surprise came 2 years later. After countless doctors had told Emily she would probably never have biological children, she became pregnant. Nobody expected it. Least of all her. When she saw the positive test, she stared at it for nearly 10 minutes. Then she started laughing and crying at the same time. 9 months later, we welcomed a baby girl. The first person allowed to hold her after us was Lily. The second was Noah. The third was Emily's mother. A woman who quietly whispered through tears, "I wish you could have seen yourself the way I see you." Emily smiled. For the first time, I think she finally did. Today, our house is loud, messy, chaotic. There are toys everywhere. Homework on the table. Soccer schedules on the refrigerator. And more laughter than I ever thought possible after loss entered our lives. Sometimes I still catch Emily looking at herself in the mirror. The old insecurities haven't disappeared completely. Some scars never do. But then one of the kids inevitably runs into the room yelling for her. Or the baby reaches for her arms. Or I walk past and kiss her forehead. And the doubt fades. Because love has a way of telling the truth louder than fear. Looking back, I often think about that night in the kitchen. The night she said no man would want her. What she didn't understand then was that she was already everything a good man could hope to find. Not because she was willing to sacrifice herself for others. Not because she could help raise children. Not because she constantly put everyone else first. But because her heart was extraordinary. Because kindness never goes out of style. Because compassion never loses its beauty. Because the most attractive thing about a person has never been the shape of their body. It has always been the shape of their soul. And the woman who once believed nobody would choose her eventually discovered something life-changing. The right people don't love you because you're perfect. They love you because you're you. Sometimes the greatest tragedy isn't that others fail to see our worth. It's that we fail to see it ourselves. And sometimes the most beautiful miracle isn't finding someone who loves you. It's finally learning that you deserve that love all along.